before. And before religious fanatics started to harass me, I had the freedom to express my, what I can only call my philosophical right of expression. And I looked at religion as theology, right? I looked at religion as theology. And when I got pushed on that subject matter, when that became the ultimate abomination about me, I went overboard. I reacted because a person's views doesn't define them. I mean, it's the same with when I was in the 8th grade, and we had to dress up funny, and me and my friends really wanted to win the prize. It was all about the prize. So someone gutsy had to step up and do something funny. So I dressed up in a skirt and I put on some funny high heel. I just did the most outrageous silly thing I could do. So I looked like this boomerang cross-dresser, and I won second prize. I was disappointed by the prize, but it was my character. Sometimes I just do things that I deem fun or funny, right? And when it's interpreted by strangers, how they interpret it is how they interpret it. But when they start to step on my character, my core values, I won't budge. As much as my knees buckle, I won't budge. So I mean, at first I was frightened, man, right? I'm not a person that is used to attention, and I'm not an attention seeker. Sometimes I just want to be, to be me, be in my corner, the stuff that I do. Of course I've changed as a person, mostly due to the information that I was exposed to. I did a lot of reading, I did a lot of researching, I did a lot of watching. It just became something that I want. I want to learn, I want to know more, and that was me. That's why I could tinker with new ideas and concepts that I had, philosophically, right? And yeah, things changed, and all of a sudden, when you say something, it becomes you, or it offends hell knows who. So first I curled up in a corner, and then how long can you keep a lion in a zoo with the gate open? When I speak of people that inspire me, like Richard Feynman, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein. I wasn't exposed to these characters and their contribution to physics and to the world when I was in school. When I was in school, we did. I remember there was a piece on Nikola Tesla, and it was so small. While he revolutionized, radio, telephones, alternating current. This is all due to Tesla, right? So there wasn't a narrative when we're doing science in class. So it was kind of boring. And yeah, I had issues, man. But when I started to research these characters, when I started to read their works and all of that stuff, the way that I spoke of them is the same way that I speak of Prof. When that it really was the first book that I read from start to finish. That didn't have anything to do with school. It was in the cupboard. And it's one of his early works too. So I read that book, and the beautiful part is that I could totally identify with the story. As I was reading it, the picture forms in your mind. That's when you're enjoying a good book. So then I was really interested in reading more of the author's works. Then I asked my dad, and he told me, oh yeah, that's he's a family member, Joseph Dishaw, ABC. And he started to talk about and then he had other books in the cupboard, but they mostly had to do with the constitution and stuff. So at that time I didn't really complete reading them at that time. But other Namibian writers I wasn't exposed to in such a enlightening manner, right? So to say that I'm being there's a certain bias when it comes to to the professor as an intellectual, it's nonsense. I mean, everybody has had someone that has had some sort of impact in their life, be it directly or indirectly, right? And the rest is coincidence, right? So the rest is coincidence. So yeah, I mean, being able to meet the man was, I was honored. But I met the man and not the author, right? I know how to differentiate this stuff. But still, I believe that people don't really understand or grasp the impact that he has put on our diagnosis in our country, because people didn't really pay that much attention to political critique. It was all about viva, viva, viva. So reading his critique, his political analysis, and you get more insight. So I was like, right? Most people would sort of brush it off and be like, no, he's against this, he's against that, he's just so I sort of started to come out when it came to politics or political dialogue, right? Because the truth is the truth, right? So yeah, so you will read the dictums on my wall, and it's my wall. I don't even know whether people even pay attention to that, for it to be such a thing about bias and all that sort of nonsense. No, it's about the beginning, right? I mean, characters start to fall in later on. Well, sure. I mean, let's all champion Namibian scholarship, right? Let's all champion Namibian scholarship. Let's all champion Namibian intellectuals. Let's champion them all. But it's about coming out. it's about them coming out, contributing, showing their contributions and stop hiding. We live in a democracy right now, and if a lot of intellectuals feel threatened, then come out and say it. Come out and say you feel threatened, right? And we'll put a wall around you because you're important, right? We won't have our crucial people be threatened by empty cans. That definitely won't happen. So it's time for our intellectuals to come out and speak out, and create a new dialogue when it comes to Namibia, when it comes to Namibian economics, when it comes to Namibian politics, when it comes to Namibian agriculture. I know for a fact that there are lots of them out there that don't want to come out and just give us a tiny bit of their cake because it's paid for, right? There are advisors to this and advisors to that, and if they're those that are the ones that are so selfish that they keep everything to themselves, well, keep it to yourself. We'll learn, and we'll keep learning, and we'll keep distributing, right? Oh, no. There's a lot more. There's a lot more. I mean, when you're at your most vulnerable, you get attacked, and when you get back up stronger, and you know how to manage things better. But I don't know, man. I just feel like it's like every day is the last day, so you just feel this drive, the urge. I don't know what to call it. That's why I love the commencement speech by Steve Jobs, because I could identify with that, right? And people want different things in their lives, but when you get to a certain caliber of knowing, the world is a lot different from how most people see it. That's kind of what I've noticed now. It's like you look at people and you're like, it's very different. It's like they are putting limitations on themselves on purpose, and care about trivial things, as opposed to important things. Of course, I acknowledge the fact that I'm still young, and I'm very much aware of this. It's funny. I mean, like every song embodies my life or something like that. I mean, I'm not. Come on. No. All of it. We intend to be, I won't say a nation that accepts everything, but people's sexual orientation or people's people's religion, and all of their political affiliations, all of that stuff. That won't be the defining characteristics of a citizen. And I'm talking 10 years. Southern Africa, actually. the agricultural boom will definitely put a stop to the Chinese boom. Communal areas.